We'll see how it shakes out for Mason Beck off of turn number 4 field. Slowly comes to the start zone. We're underway.
Side by side, good start by both of those guys. Chris Theodore's had a good week as well. That 106 is fast, and there he goes around the outside. Rodney Schweizer, he's working the inside of Beck down in the bottom of turn number 4.
Lap number 1 going to go to the 106 of Chris Theodore. So Rodney Schweizer second, Mason Beck, Pat Graham, and Mason Martin are your top 5 at the end of lap number 1. Todd Staley gains 2 spots early. He's up to 6th.
And he's going right there behind Mason Beck. Going to dip it down to the bottom. Now look at this. Schweizer going to take the race lead. Chris Theodore going to go back upstairs. Martin going to roll up there with him. And Pat Graham, throw him in the mix. They're 2 by 2. Graham.
Problems, turn 1 and 2, sorry.
Yeah.
Got them around and the yellow lights are on. 2 and 18 to go as we bring them back off of turn number 4 this time.
Schweizer protecting the bottom and a good start. Here comes that 131. Mason Martin had a little issue last night, but he has been looking good here tonight. That bright blue, sparkling 131. Doing a good job around the top side. Theodore coming as well there in the 106.
Yep. Mason Martin making the top side of the speedway work. It rolled into the 2nd spot, still fighting with Theodore for it. Now turns 1 and 2 into the racetrack. Really good at the top. And look at Martin, 31. He's going to drive out to the lead. Down into turns 3 and 4. Schweizer protecting the bottom. Theodore is right there as well. Those cars all nose to tail along the bottom of the racetrack as Martin trying to hustle the high side of the speedway. That time by the line, Schweizer still your leader, but only a half car length separated him from the 31.
Well, good corner there by Martin. It didn't look like it at first, but the car got through there pretty good, and he closed that gap. Here he goes upstairs, trying to make the top side of 4 work again. Schweizer still by a car length at the line.
Yeah, right here is where he gets a really good run. A lot of momentum at the exit of turn 2 down the back straightaway, but Schweizer got off of the corner really well. Nose to tail, they worked into turns 3 and 4. Now they'll fan out. Schweizer along the bottom, Martin along the top, and now we got problems.
Chris Theodore and Pat Graham together in the bottom of turn number 4. Both of those cars going to continue on. Theodore right back at it here. We're going to go at it again. Graham to the inside. Theodore with Ellis to the outside of them. Theodore going to let Graham scoot by.
Yeah. Now look who's in 3rd. El Presidente, Todd Staley in the 3rd spot.
Right where he needs to be. As Todd Staley going to rip the lip. Doug Keller working his way up into that 4th position. He started back in the 14th spot, so keep your eyes on Easton, Missouri's Doug Keller. There's a good shot of him as he goes around Mason Beck at the start-finish line. He is now right behind Staley. Oh, Beck going to battle back to the inside, but Keller has her hooked up.
Keller and Beck into the bottom of turns 1 and 2. Beck right around the bottom. Keller run through the middle of the racetrack. That allows Beck to roll by. Again, that's a battle over the 4th and 5th spot, so put Beck up to 4th. Keller back to 5th, and we've got a yellow at the bottom side of turns 3 and 4. So caution flag going to wave once again.
Jeffo was letting me down. Green flag back out, Rodney Schweizer. Out in front, Staley going to the bottom side. He's going to honk the chrome horn on the 746. Not enough that time. Mason Martin on the top. Doug Keller now dealing with Pat Graham. Look at this. It's going to be a good one when it comes down to the line. Mason Martin, though, he might be the one on the move. Around the top side. Oh, got a little snug on him there. I thought he was going to have something. Did not work.
Nope, sure didn't. Staley now in the 2nd spot. Just almost looks like he's running at Martinsville along the bottom of the racetrack. Just nice and straight, easy along the bottom now. He's going to test the top side of the racetrack in turns 1 and 2. Graham back up to the 3rd spot after he had trouble early. So the 1G of Pat Graham now coming after the 14 of Staley. Those two nose to tail on the bottom end of the racetrack in turns 3 and 4.
Oh, look at this. Another battle shaping up. Pat Graham liking what he's seeing. He's got clean air on the bottom side of the track. Staley went back upstairs and found some grip. We'll see if he can make that play out, as he's going to do the top of 1 and 2, bottom of 3 and 4, and that might be just what he needs to catch Rodney Schweizer. But I'll tell you what, that old Camara is moving. Pat Graham has been solid all week long, and he is looking to punch his ticket into Saturday night's show right now.
Staley's making some time on switching lines at either end of the racetrack. Much better this time as he keeps it pinned along the bottom. The last time he almost opened up the exit of the corner too much. This time into turns 1 and 2, hits the top side of the racetrack. Looks like he didn't quite get into the corner hard enough because the car got tight on him, didn't have enough speed. So now that allows Pat Graham to the inside. What's Staley going to do? He's not going to be able to come down the racetrack like he wanted to. Rose through the middle, but Graham can't quite take full advantage of it yet. Good battle for second spot, back into 1 and 2.
That's a great battle for that second place, and you're right, it's getting a little snug up on top, but Staley going to slingshot back by. But the problem is Graham is going to beat him to the bottom of 3 and 4. Staley has enough momentum to beat him in there a little bit, but then Graham, he's too good on the bottom side there. Schweizer, you can see that was a great shot there.
Yeah.
That right rear brake caliper and rotor just glowing red. That's how much he's riding the brakes in that 746. When he rolls around the bottom side of 1 and 2, you'll get a good shot at it as we're coming to 17 in the books.
Staley cut a good corner the last time through turns 1 and 2. He'll do it again at the top part of the racetrack.
Great shot there by the Race and Dirt crew.
But Graham better off of the exit of 2, so Staley back into the third spot. That forces Todd up to the top side of turns 3 and 4 where there hasn't been as much up there. We'll see what he can do this time off of turn 4 with the 2 to go signal in the air. Yellow flag is out. We were here with him earlier in the year.
Yep, green flag comes out. Rodney Schweizer back on the loud pedal. Staley going to set it up to go to the cush. There he goes around the top side. Pat Graham following in the trail of Rodney Schweizer right now.
And Todd got a little tight there on corner entry at the top side of turns 1 and 2. Now the problem is he's stuck on the top of the racetrack, and the preferred line in 3 and 4 is the bottom. So far, unable to do anything. Everybody else unable to do anything with it. As Todd back to the top of turns 1 and 2 this time.
Schweizer has the lead. Pat Graham running second. You want to watch that third position. Keep your eyes. Doug Keller started back outside of row number 7, but here comes Rodney Schweizer to take the double checkers. Pat Graham crosses the line in that second spot, and El Presidente punches his ticket to the chocolate factory later. And that is your top 3 that will punch their ticket to Saturday night. Doug Keller comes home from starting 14th in that 4th position. Mason Beck, Mason Martin, Brandon Dixon, Devin Jobin, Weston Coop, and James Ellis round out your top 10. But how about it, race fans? The 746 of Rodney